Hello, welcome to Barbara Talks Business. Today, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, our topic is new names. And you may have noticed in the description that this is coming as a topic because of a letter that I recently received from an attorney that started with the subject line infringement on the trademark FUSE. And so this will be an interesting conversation, and I encourage you to say hello if you're in the chat. If you're watching live, or even if you're watching as a replay, let me know you're here and that you're watching, because I'm hoping to share something with you that can save you a lot of time, money, and energy from something that I learned the harder way. But I'm also going to share with you how God is moving in this situation and some positivity out of it as well. So, before we jump into the topic, I want to first update you on my relationship challenge and also give a couple of shout outs. And speaking of shout outs, don't forget to say hello if you are in the chat. I see the numbers are increasing as I'm just getting started. So make sure you say hello if you're in the chat, because I'm about to do some shout outs. All right, so with my relationship challenge, for those of you who may not have been following along, I will just give a really quick recap. September was National Self Improvement Month. So for Self Improvement Month, I decided that I wanted to make a goal to build deeper relationships rather than surface level. Hey, I like you, you like me, we don't have anything against each other. I wanted to build those deeper relationships of I truly do love and care about you. I want to know the good things in your life, the bad things in your life. I want to know what to pray for you about, and just really being intentional about those relationships. And so every week I have a goal to do at least one intentional meeting with somebody, get together with someone for coffee or lunch or whatever it looks like. And then I update you guys here, mostly for accountability, because it is very far outside of my comfort zone to really go deep in relationships. And so, I see somebody said hi on here. I'm going to go ahead and throw them up here. The Boomer Crew. I actually am not sure who that is, but hello. It's probably you guys are using your business name, I assume. But tell me who you are in the chat, just so I know exactly who you are. But thank you so much, the Boomer Crew, for watching. And so my relationship challenge today, I did have one very powerful meeting connection. And it was actually at a prayer retreat, my very first prayer retreat I've ever been at. And it came at the perfect time. And so the relationship that I went deeper in this week was actually with the Lord, with the Holy Spirit. And it was really, really amazing. I have so many stories to share from it. I'm not going to do that in this video because that's not what this video is about. But I'm sure sometime soon I will be sharing it, probably in the form of a video, because I'm comfortable doing video. All right, so I did meet my relationship challenge this week, and it was probably my most powerful relationship challenge that I've had so far. Couple of shout outs. Today are some really important birthdays. The first one that I want to acknowledge is CCSK Law Firm. Today is their 5th birthday, and they actually have a video out on their Facebook and LinkedIn page with kind of some of their journey of how they got started, and how this all came to be, and thanking some people who are important to them. So I encourage you to go to their Facebook page, their YouTube, any of their social media. It's CCSK Law. And then just check out their journey, because it's really cool. A little bit of a disclaimer, those of you that may not know, one of the attorneys at CCSK is my husband. And so, of course, I love them probably more than the average person, but they are an awesome law firm. And then also I want to give a shout out to my Uncle David, who also is having a birthday today. I don't know his exact age. I've never been good with ages, but I know he's only a few years older than me. And so I used to always think he was my cousin instead of my uncle, because he was his mom had him very late in life. And so, but he's really awesome. So anybody who knows my Uncle David Dishno, wish him a happy birthday as well. And you guys can also wish these happy birthdays in the comments if you would like to. So you can say happy birthday CCSK or happy birthday David. Any of those will work. All right, so let's jump in to this infringement topic because it is an interesting one. So a couple of weeks ago, I received a letter from an attorney. And, most people, when they receive a letter from an attorney, they get worried, like, what I do wrong? Well, I happen to be married to an attorney. I just married him a couple years ago. And those of you who don't know my journey, I had my business before my husband. So even though he's a business attorney, I didn't really walk through the beginning part of my business with him because I didn't know him at that time. And so everything I'm about to share with you now was pre Isaac. And but luckily now that I'm married to an attorney, this process has been a whole lot easier. So anyway, so I get this letter from an attorney. It didn't really faze me at all because the only attorneys that I'm really close with are all really awesome. And not just the CCSK guys, they are all awesome. Everybody at CCSK. And I don't say that just because of Isaac being the CEO there, but they really are. Every attorney at CCSK is just amazing. But I also know some other attorneys, even outside of CCSK, that are really phenomenal. And I know there's this stigma against attorneys that's kind of like, oh, you think of one and you think bad things. But I didn't think that. I got this letter, didn't think anything of it. I open it up and I see, hey, basically, I'm going to summarize for you. Our client has the trademark for the name FUSE, F-U-S-E, and you're infringing upon it. They were very polite in the letter. This attorney was very kind. They weren't threatening me in any way. They were simply bringing it to my attention. But they, obviously did make it a point to say that if I didn't comply, that it would go to court and, all that other stuff that attorneys do have to do to make us comply. But so my first thought is, how do you trademark a 4-letter word like fuse that's so common? Apparently this was done way back in the 90s. I don't know if laws have gotten more strict since then or what. So my first thought was, there's no way this is legit. So I sent it over to my husband. Like I said, he's a business attorney. And I'm like, babe, is this for real? Like, do I need to be worried? What's going on? And after his thorough investigation on it, talking with a few other lawyers, specifically ones that specialize in trademark law, he came back to me and was like, yeah, babe, it's legit. Here's a few options for you. And so he gives me a few options, and I'm not going to go through all of them with you right now because I don't want to take up your whole day with every single detail. But basically what I ended up doing after some time in prayer, I felt at peace with the decision that God was saying, I'm not calling you to shut down your business. I called you to this business and you should continue doing it. So I felt comfortable with that. But I also felt at peace that the Lord told me it is time for a new name. And so I told my husband, I said, babe, I'm going to comply. I'm going to choose a new name. I don't know what that name is yet. I'm going to pray on it and let the Lord give it to me. But go ahead and respond back and let them know that I'm going to comply. Ask if I could get like 6 months or something to figure this out, because even once I choose a new name, I have to change literally everything. Changing your name in business is worse than changing it when you get married. So ladies, for those of you who have been married and you got to go change your social security card, your birth certificate, like everything that you have to change, right? Your address, your driver's license, your email address, your bank accounts, literally everything. Well, business is a lot more complex than that, because then we have to go through state and federal and this and all kinds of different things. And so I've already changed my business name a few times over the past 15 years since I've been in business. But I feel like this change is different because it's coming from the Lord. And as a believer, yeah, I'm a bit nervous about this change, but also because I'm a believer, I'm excited about the change. And so I want to talk about new names. All right, so, and then I'm going to give you some options to make sure that you're not infringing on anybody's business trademark. At the end of this video, some tips that I got from my husband. Now that I know that I didn't know what I didn't know, I was able to seek out his advice. And so I'll give you a little bit of that just as a hey, thanks for watching. But obviously, you should consult with an attorney yourself to know for sure what your business needs are. And so I'll also give you Isaac's contact information at the end of this video, or CCSK, I should say, not him directly, because they've got several attorneys that can help you there. But so I'm going to give you those resources because I didn't know what I didn't know. And chances are, if you're not an attorney yourself, you likely don't know what you should be checking either. So let's jump into it. A new name. I'm going to be specifically speaking about names in the Bible for this next couple of minutes. So those of you who are believers, you'll probably know many of these stories. Those of you who are not believers, I encourage you to still listen just because it's exciting. So let's start with I think this was the very first name change in the Bible. When God changed Abraham's name to Abraham, right? And so before we go into the specifics of whose name was changed to what, I want to say that as I studied these new names, what I've noticed was that every time God gave someone a new name, whether it was a person or a nation, it was to signify a transformation, a new identity, a new purpose or vision for that person or that nation. And so I'm excited that Fuse is getting a new name. And like I said, I honestly don't know what it is yet. I hope you guys will continue to watch me through this journey. And I hope that whatever God gives me, that you guys will continue to still support me in that. But so let's go back. Abram, Abram, very early in the Bible, this is from Genesis. His name meant high father. But then when God told him that he was going to be the father of nations, he actually changed his name to Abraham, which means father of a multitude. And as we all know, Abraham did become the father of all the nations, right? It is through Abraham's seed that Jesus came, that we all now are saved and redeemed. So, and then Abraham's wife, her name was, I believe it was pronounced Sarai, because it was Sarai, and that meant my princess, which is a beautiful name. Who wouldn't want to be called my princess? But God changed her name to Sarah, spelled Sarah, which means mother of nations. And for those of you who don't know the story of Abraham and Sarah, they were old, probably like 80 or 90 years old. And God told them they were going to have a baby that was going to be the beginning of they were going to be the father of nations, right? The parents of nations, Abraham the father, Sarah the mother. And at this point, they hadn't had any children yet. And they're in their 80s or 90s. And so they're like, how are we going to have all these kids? We don't even have one yet. And we're past childbearing age. And so God blessed them. He did bless them with many, many children, right? But the main one being Isaac, that Abraham had, which was Sarah's child. Abraham had other children outside of Sarah, but Sarah's child was Isaac, and it was through him that all of this was fulfilled. And it's interesting that I'm actually married to an Isaac now. But okay, so let's continue going. And then, so Jacob, who was actually Isaac's son, so Isaac had Jacob, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So the name Jacob meant supplanter, and the name Israel means having power with God. How would you like your name to be changed to something meaning having power with God? So Jacob was renamed by the Lord himself to Israel. And then, as you know, Jacob had 12 kids, or 12 sons, that became the 12 tribes of Israel. Which is, I mean, all of this is just amazing when you really dig in and dig deep into this. And in fact, you guys, I'm so excited to tell you this, that last week, I felt like the Lord impressed upon me to buy the domain Barbara Talks, right now I have Barbara Talks business.com, and that's probably where you're watching this at. But I felt like he told me to buy barbaratalksbible.com. And at the time I was like, no, Lord, I'm not equipped to talk Bible. I'm still a new believer. But I obeyed and I bought it. And then as I was doing this research to have this conversation, I felt like the Lord was like, yeah, see, you're talking Bible. And I don't know, maybe this is where he's transitioning me to with all this name change. I honestly don't know, but we will see what happens. And then let's move on to in the New Testament, when Jesus, when he walked the earth and he's with his disciples, and he changed Simon's name, which Simon meant God has heard. He changed his name to Peter. Peter meaning rock. And as you know, those of you who know the story of Peter, is that he did become the rock. He became the foundation to which the gospel was spread, like the foundation of that. In Acts, you'll hear a lot of Peter sharing the gospel and moving people through the power of the Holy Spirit. And so I didn't actually recognize that the new name change was going to be exciting at first. In fact, when I went to my life group at our church, we do these things called life groups where different nights of the week there are different groups that meet. I go to one that is all women, and there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 15 of us that go to this weekly life group every Tuesday night, and it's amazing. And, we ask for prayer requests, we do a lesson, we get to know each other, we fellowship, we eat. But when they asked for prayer requests, I shared what I was struggling with. Like the whole lawyer letter with infringement. And I was like, hey, I need a new name and I don't know how to find it. I'm praying, but if everybody can pray in agreement with me, that God makes the name very clear to me, so I have no doubt that it is of him. That's my request. And one of the other ladies, and it was her first time there too, she's sitting all the way over in the corner, and she said, well, in the Bible, every time God gave someone a new name, it was important. It was because there was a change. And you guys, I started crying right there in life group. I was like, oh my goodness, I've had such a transformation, specifically this last year, so much, but over the last about 3 years, God has been transforming me. Like, I feel like my life just keeps flipping upside down to a brand new transformation, and each time it gets better and better and better, and the Lord's making me stronger, and my business is becoming better, and just everything in my life is getting better, but not without trials. You guys who know me and have been watching me, you know that I've gone through a lot of trials, especially these past few years. The devil has tried stopping me. He's discouraged me, but the Lord has always had the victory. And so when that lady shared that with me, I was like, there has been a transformation, not just in my personal life, but in my business life. And the fact that I felt like God is saying, Barbara, I see you. I hear you. I know that you are living for me. And this hasn't always been your way. And this is probably uncomfortable for you still, but I know your heart, and I'm transforming you, and I'm giving you a new destiny. And it's just really amazing. So before I cry so much, you guys, I see that people are still jumping on. So if you're jumping on as I'm crying, it's tears of joy, but don't forget to say hello. And so, yeah, watch with me through this transformation as I choose a new name for Fuse. I expect this journey to take several months. We've asked for 6 months of a transition. I'm hoping they'll give me that without any fight. And so 6 months, I'm hoping, will be the longest before we know the new name and that we implement the new name. But you know how God works. It could be an instant. I might get off this call right now and receive the name. I don't know. But pray for me. Pray for, if you are a prayer warrior, I pray that God reveals the name that he wants for my business, and that I walk his path for this next phase of my life. And here, after 15 years of doing business my way, I am ready to do it God's way. And it's interesting that I've had the name Fuse for so long, but it's just now when I get this letter, right? Like, why wasn't it sent to me 5 years ago or something? But I think it is because I didn't have that transformation 5 years ago. It's happening now. And so the new name comes now. So thank you guys for watching this. And let me give you those resources that I promised you. So before I knew my husband, who's an attorney, as a business person who just kind of learned everything on my own, I thought there were 3 things that you do to find out if you could use a name. First, you do a Google search, make sure nobody else is using that name. You do a domain search, right? The www, see if that name's available. And then you check the Indiana Secretary of State to see if anybody has that name in your state, right? That was what I thought is all you had to do. I didn't realize there was a whole separate process for trademarks. Um, so so my husband Isaac from CCSK Law, he's a business and real estate attorney, but they do all kinds of different kinds of law, through their network. I asked him for some resources that I could share with you guys, but again, you should definitely talk to an attorney yourself. Don't just take my word for it, because I'm not an attorney. And I will give you the information for CCSK, just in case you want to call them. So actually, CCSK, you could go to their website at ccSKlaw.com. I'll say it slow because I know I say it really fast. C like cat, C like cat, S like Sam, K like kite, law, that's LAW.com. And you could reach out to them there. They've got lots of free information on all the topics they specialize in there. And then you could email them at support@ccSKlaw.com, or you can give them a call at 219-230-3600. And just let them know what you're looking for, and the receptionist will connect you to the right attorney. Don't specifically ask for Isaac, because he might not be the best person to help you at this particular time or with your particular situation. They've got lots of awesome attorneys there. But you can say that Barbara sent you. Okay, so two other things that you need to look for. It's the federal trademark search, which Isaac gave me a link to, and it looks like it is a trademark database with the letters USPTO, USPTO. And so to do a federal trademark search, and then you could do an Indiana trademark search. If you're doing business in Indiana, which is where I am, and that's why I'm focused on this, and not any other state, then you could do an Indiana trademark search at bsd.sos.in.gov/public trademark search. And I will put all of these links, easy to click on, right in the description of this video, and also on the podcast. Those of you who might be watching it as an audio or hearing this as an audio on podcast, I'll put it in the link here as well. So if you have any questions, let me know, or comments or encouragement. I could definitely use a lot of that right now, but I'll also put the contact information for CCSK Law in the description as well. But I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Barbara Talks Business every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Have a great day.